Hollywood Fringe Festival Town Hall #1 for the year 2018. Woo! Yes! My name is Ben Hill. I'll be your cruise director for the year. This is always an exciting time because we get to see all the new faces, the people who haven't done Fringe before, just so we can quantify new faces. Who's an HFF new face? That's not, whoa! So all of you. Hello, new faces. Welcome. First, I'd like to thank the Actors Company and Lauren Salazar for having us in this wonderful space, which I'm sure she would like me to remind you is available for rent for the Hollywood Fringe Festival. We are being videotaped without your consent, so tough. And this is for all you wonderful people out there at home who are watching this. I want you to know that we wish you were here, and in a way, you are. We're in your hearts, you're in our hearts. Okay, here we go. Fringe is a big subject. We're not going to cover all that is Fringe here, because fundamentally, you are going to create Fringe yourself. Fringe is something that is birthed every year, that is unique every year. Fringe isn't an aesthetic. Fringe is an institution. It's a cultural force. It's something that happens much like theater. It is born and it disappears every moment, every second during June. So you're all going to be a part of something very, very, very special. And what makes it, bless you, what makes it so special, and bless you, the major part is what all you folks bring. As everyone knows that it is your blood, sweat, and tears and stage lights that make it so wonderful and such a fantastic experience. So thank you, all of you. I'm preemptively thanking you for bringing what you're going to be bringing this June. It's a very special experience, and I'm so thrilled to be a part of it. I'm so thrilled to be here at the beginning of another great year. Okay, a couple of things. What are we talking about today? We're talking about the ever important subject of getting started. How do I Fringe? How do I approach the Fringe? How do I register the Fringe, et cetera, et cetera. We're going to be talking a bit about planning. How do I plan for a successful Fringe run? And then, of course, for all of you math majors out there, I'm sure there's tons of you in the arts, we're going to talk about budgeting. We're going to use broad numbers so people understand just generally, a little bit, how to manage your money, which is a very important part during the Fringe. To be successful, you want to be artistically successful and financially viable. That makes a great Fringe experience. If you're into that cesspool known as Twitter, we are tweetering on the that's fine, by all means tweet. On the HFF18 hashtag, follow us at Hollywood Fringe. That's a great way actually to communicate as a community during the Fringe. You'll notice it will be announced during the course of the Fringe. We'll have multiple Fringe chats, so check your Fringe Twitter chats. An opportunity for us all to talk on the medium of social media. So by all means, participate in those. It's a great way to develop another community here, there, and everywhere and get the word out about your show. Fringe support. During the course of this saga, you will, from time to time, need help. You will have questions. We have answers to your questions. We actually have very rapid answers to your questions. And the guy who does all the answering to questions is Dave McKeever, right here. Hi, Dave. So you'll get to know Dave very well. Support at HollywoodFringe.org. Support at HollywoodFringe.org. And for those of you that want to jump into our support portal or sportal, you can get there at support.hollywoodfringe.org in your favorite browser, which should be Firefox.
Can you repeat that last name?
Support.hollywoodfringe.org. That is where you go for the answers to your questions. We are, after all of this fun business of me talking, which I'm going to try to keep to a dull minimum, or silent minimum, we're going to have a Q&A. So if you can, control yourself and hold your questions to the end. You will have answers in the end. We'll get everyone answers in. After this, there's a mixer, because the Fringe likes to mix. And it's right next door. It's at the other space, which is the literal and actual, the metaphorical and actual name of the space. It's the other space over there. There will be booze, Go over there, just follow the smell of alcohol, and you will find your way. All right, I'm going to talk fast. Sorry about that. From the East Coast, 60 to 70 minutes is what I'm looking for. So feel free to take notes, type on your phones, type on your laptops. I will not be insulted. We cover quite a bit. So let's start at the beginning. In the beginning, there was Fringe, and the year was 1947. It started with a little place called Edinburgh in the United Kingdom, specifically in a country called Scotland. There were about 8 shows that weren't invited to the otherwise exclusive Edinburgh International Festival, and they set themselves up around the fringes of the festival, therefore creating the first festival fringe. And to this day, the Edinburgh Festival Fringe, one of the wonders of the earth, is one of the largest arts festival on the planet. And it is, if you've never been to Edinburgh in August, I strongly suggest you go, because it is a crazy, go-nuts madhouse. Like, we're crazy over here. They're crazy. So I was like, by all means, if you can, check it out. It's really, really freaking awesome. And it's still going on. It's huge. This whole concept of the fringe festivals or festival fringes have basically gone through all the major cities in the world. And in 2010 was our first year. That was in the year 2010. And we knew we wanted to launch pretty big. So we planned for 3 years, which is crazy. Los Angeles project, theater, 3 years of planning. But it turned out to work. We launched with 140 some, 60 some, 70 something like that. Dave?
170.
There we go. 170 some shows. And ever since then, the number of shows and the audiences and the community involvement and the ticket sales and the websites and all those metrics, the numbers that we love to follow, went up and up and up and up and up. But more importantly, massively more importantly, we've developed this community. You will find, I promise you, that the Fringe community is the friendliest community in the city of Los Angeles, if not the world. And I am not exaggerating. So, like, the whole idea of Fringe and what we're trying to establish in Hollywood Fringe is one of not competition, but one of support, and one of sharing, and one of collaboration, and one of rooting for each other to succeed. For as we know in theater, in this struggling medium that is currently going through a great rebirth in this particular movement, that it makes absolutely no sense at all to think that just because someone else is winning, another person needs to lose. Fundamentally, we can all win. As is proved by this scientific phenomenon that is the Fringe Festival, we can all win together by supporting one another. And it's not just sort of like, oh, how lovely thought. It's an actual, like, mathematically proven fact that our community, as it grows and as it blossoms and as we share audiences and experiences and the whole thing, that we become stronger as a whole. And that's what the Fringe is about. It isn't just size for size's sake. It's scale for scale's sake. It's about something special and larger. And the reason we grow is because people want to be a part of that and share in that phenomenon. So that's what the Fringe is about. What's just riffing? None of that is in my notes. Okay, so let's talk about what it is. What is the Fringe? The Fringe is a performing arts festival. Not all fringes necessarily call themselves that. But we like, just to make things easy, a performing arts festival. We are not, say, a film festival or a music festival, something specific. Anything like that falls under the banner of performing arts festivals is generally what we are. We are open access. Open access. For those of you who know open source software, this is like the kind of the theatrical equivalent of it. Open access, meaning anyone who has an idea and can find a venue within a prescribed area can play. They can be a part of the festival itself. There is no central group of people with beards saying that's bad. There's like, everyone can come. I don't know, I'm picking on people with beards. I'm gonna make that a thing. But they're like, anyone can join. Like, there is no censorship. If you can find a place, and I mean any place, to do your work, then you can do your work. Okay, it is community-centered. We talked about that. At its core of what we are about a community. We're not just these individual siloed shows in the darkness like we are a broad, connected world. And I think that's very important. And when you're on this stage or another stage or stage at any venue in the Fringe, that there is a sense of sort of like the force between all of us, right? Connected between all of us, and we're all in this together. It is an opportunity to try experimental work and new ideas. It is also a place to refine existing work. As I said, it isn't an aesthetic. What bothers me, some things bother me, this bothers me. People say, oh, Fringe Festival, do you have a lot of fringy shows? And it's like, I don't like using the term fringy as an adjective. As something like wacky and crazy. Like, yeah, do wacky and crazy things. Go nuts, go bananas. But it doesn't necessarily need to be wacky and crazy. It doesn't need to be fringy. Fringe, think of fringe as a model in a community, not necessarily an adjective or an aesthetic. It is an opportunity to build new audiences. So if you are an existing company or an existing solo artist or whatever, a touring artist, this is an opportunity for you to come and benefit from 8 years of our audience building work. It's all created through people like you. Yeah, we do a little bit by billboards and pole signs, and like we push out merchandise, and so we push out like printed stuff and ads and all that stuff. Yeah. But really what it comes down to is you guys bringing in your people, introducing them to the Fringe community and the festival. And that audience builds and builds and builds. And now we have people who like, June, it's the most wonderful time of the year, because I get to see all of these shows and they think about it and they plan it. So it's like, if you can find strategies to poke your head out from the crowd, which is something that future town halls and workshops are going to talk about quite a lot, strategies to market your show and to give you that edge in marketing, then you can grab all of these new audiences and pull them into your world. So fantastic. Now let's talk about what Fringe isn't. We don't do a lot of negative, but these are what we want to hit. The Fringe is not curated. We talked about that. We don't choose the shows. Please do not send us your scripts. It happens. We will not read them. Anyone who has an idea can join. There's no people with beards, etc. It is not an aesthetic. We talked about this. And most importantly, this is my favorite part. It is not a place for jerks. Okay. We have one big rule at the Fringe. And over the course of this experience of yours, you're going to hear this a lot. And so when somebody says, what's the number, okay, there's people who know. What's the number one rule of Fringe?
Don't be a jerk.
Don't be a fucking jerk. Like, that's the number one thing. Don't be a jerk. The only thing is going to be creative, be weird. We're all weird. We're theater people. Be strange, be crazy, be yourself. But just don't be a jerk, because you're going to get kicked the fuck out. So like, and that's everywhere. This is not a place for jerks. We have a no jerk policy here. So let me give you an example. I tell the story every year. The story is awesome. It was like 4 or 5 years ago, and I think it was in the Hudson. It was the first town hall. And I'm giving up, and this one guy comes and sits in the center row. Clearly does not like anything I have to say, which is fine. This is fine, because they got a lot of like everything is like, okay, I'm offending this person deeply. And then I bring up this subject, because the Fringe has one rule, and it's don't be a jerk. And the guy stands up and walks out the door, and I'm like, what now? So don't be a jerk. Okay, let's talk about some dates. Everyone likes to talk about dates. Workshops in town halls. Okay, this is a town hall. How do you know it's a town hall? Because you see me and I'm standing on stage and I'm talking to you for a while and we have Q&A. It's a town hall. That's how it's worked since the beginning of time, otherwise known as 2010. We also have workshops. So workshops are wonderful because it's not just me who's never been in a Fringe show. Workshops include a panel of people who actually have done what I talk about. So you get to see veterans talking about their experiences. Fringe veterans with 2, 3, 4, 5, up to 8 years of experience, literally, that tell you what's worked, what hasn't worked, what strategies have led to a more successful one, and what strategies did they try that just didn't work. And it allows you to ask them direct questions to get their feedback on things. It's a really nice panel. mostly hosted by Ellen Denherter, our outreach manager. Those of you might have gone to the venue workshop, the first one, we got to meet all the wonderful venues that participate in Fringe. We have three exactly, more left for you to experience. So here's the basic thing. Don't go nuts with your writing down, because this is all on the homepage of HollywoodFringe.org, and you can go down and you can see the what's next session, what's coming up. On Sunday, March 11th, 2 p.m. at the Complex Hollywood, the Fringe Workshop 2, this is a really good one, money and promotion. Something I think that we all, could learn more about. It's good stuff. April 3rd, 8 p.m. at the Assistance League Playhouse, we have Fringe Town Hall number 2, and that's focused on marketing. And that's me talking about generally marketing strategies that have worked from observing years and years and years of participants. Saturday, April 21st at 2 p.m. at the Studio Stage, Fringe Workshop number 3, Festival Expectations. And this is when things start to heat up. Hi, Greg. This is when things start to heat up, and this is when people start to freak the fuck out. It's like, oh my God, it's really, really happening. I need to learn more about the Fringe. You will realize that I curse. Then we have Wednesday, May 2nd, 8 p.m. at the Broadwater, Town Hall 3. It's all about ticketing and festival prep. You will notice we have a website. It does a trillion different things. One of the things it does is selling tickets, and there's a lot that goes in there. We have some tools in there to help you sell tickets. We'll go through all that in the process of ticketing and generally getting ready for that festival. And then one of my favorite workshops closes us up Saturday, May 12th at 2 p.m. at the Asylum at Studio C, the workshop for how to tech your Fringe show. If you've ever teched a show before, but not teched a Fringe show, you have not teched a Fringe show! Wasn't pretty good. So I would strongly encourage those that have any questions at all about how to tech a Fringe show, which is a unique experience, to come to this one. Okay, great. We got that. Other important dates. February 1st. It's just days away. Registration opens. That means when you're going, for those of you who already created a project on the site, that last tab is now available, the one where you can actually register your show. April 1st is the registration deadline. So let's define deadline. You can register up through June 24th if you want to. If you want to make the printed guide, because we don't have Harry Potter papers quite yet, and we cannot adjust print after it is created, then we need your registration in, not necessarily your venue booking. We need your registration in by April 1st. You can always add performances after that. But note, any performances added after April 15th will not be included in the Fringe guide. Okay, so just to cover that again, it's a little confusing. April 1st. We need your festival registration. April 15th is the guide listing lockdown. Meaning, if you have additional performances you want to add, or if you haven't booked a venue yet, you have up until April 15th to do so. So please do. April 15th is also the due date for print ads that go into the guide. Note, with your festival registration, to keep costs as low as we possibly can, you do not get a photo. Photos cost money to print. You need to buy a print ad to include your wonderful festival artwork in the Fringe guide. Now, we have special prices for you participants that are roughly almost exactly half price. So we make them very, very cheap. Festival guide ads are cheap. So much that our printer once said, "You're selling them for how much?" So yes, check those out. Those will go on sale soon. We should do that.
February 1st.
Yeah, yeah, we can do that February 1st. It's days away, Dave.
Yeah. Thursday.
Yeah, it's days away. We're putting it in my OmniFocus. Okay. All right. Then moving right along, May 1st, tickets go on sale. Very exciting day. We make a bit of an event about tickets go on sale. People say, "Wow, tickets go on sale when I register." It's so that we can make a bit of a press splash with Hollywood Fringe Festival tickets on sale. So May 1st is the date that you can start selling your tickets. Then up to May 31st. It is a wild, crazy year because we have previews starting in May. Because that's just the way the calendar works, folks. May 31st through June 5th, we have previews. We're going to talk a little bit about previews. Previews are a great chance to start building your audience, to invite press, to start building that necessary buzz that will lead you into the festival itself. June 6th is the opening night party. No one can schedule a performance on June 6th because that is the day we drink. So June 6th, June 6th is the fun day. The opening night party, the largest, the most wonderful event in theater in the world, is the opening night party. It's fun, it's loud, it's dark, and it's fun. So keep that in mind. The June 6th, are you getting all this, Greg? Because I'm giving you gold.
Oh, I know.
Okay, good.
Oh, I'm going to start memeing the hell out of you in a minute.
Very good, very good. The memes are on their way. Check your Twitters.
Hashtag shit Ben Hill says.
That's right. It's coming.
I already did a few before he got here. Sweet.
You were listening to me mumble to myself. June 7th through the 24th is when I take a vacation to Rehoboth Beach in scenic Delaware, and I will see you all. No, June 7th to the 24th is Fringe Festival 2000. Wow, I wrote 15. You know why? Because I always search on replace on the previous year, but somehow it just got away from me in 2016. So that's right.
Disappointing.
It is Fringe Festival 2015. June 7th to the 24th. The 24th is the award ceremony and the closing night party. Saddest day of the year. Okay. Okay, those were dates, and they were boring. But now we're going to talk about other things that are not like registering. Okay. Bronchitis. Okay, registering. There are 3 requirements to registering. 1, you must create a show online. We call them projects because until they become wide open to the world, they don't become shows. So basically, Fringe is how a project becomes a show. Okay, so you must create an online project. You do that at hollywoodfringe.org/ad_project, or follow any of the many links that will be on the homepage very, very soon. You must have an online project. You must have a booked venue. Note, incredibly important, unlike some other Fringe festivals, you might have participated in the past where there is a lottery and they pick your name and they tell you your venue and they set your ticket price and then they say, here are your performance dates, and they say, enjoy, which is a perfectly valid and wonderful way of doing Fringe festivals or festival fringes. That is not how we do it here. Here, it is a multiplayer system. We have the venue players, and we have the participant players, and we have the central Fringe players, and the audience players, and they all form this kind of fun little ecosystem that gives you complete freedom. In a way, how you set your ticket price, how many performances you want to book, where you want your performances, when you want your performances, it's all set by you. So in addition to registering with us, you also need to book a venue. They are separate steps. So, which is the third thing. We have an online project, a booked venue, and a paid registration. We do our best to guide you through this process as best we can. But note that you not only need to register with a Fringe, you must also book your venue. They are 2 separate financial transactions. One is with their venue, one is with the festival. So, that's just something I want to drive home. This is important. Can you wait?
Sure, it's a question about what you just said.
Oh yeah, if I didn't make any sense, then yeah, you can ask a question.
So I thought earlier you said that in order to register, you don't have to have a venue book.
Yes?
And then now you're saying a part of the
I
registration.
see that's confusing. Is anyone else confused? Yeah. Okay, fair enough. I said by April 1st, the deadline, you don't necessarily need to have a Fringe book. That's what I meant to say. So basically you have until April 15th to book your venue. If you want to make the printed guide, then we need your registration in by April 1st. You have until April 15th to actually book your performances with one of our venues. Does that make sense?
But the venue has to be booked in order to register overall for the Fringe Festival.
No, that's another good question.
Okay.
You can register on February 1st without a venue. That is actually a recent
But it
change.
doesn't complete your registration.
It does not complete your
Got it.
registration.
Okay.
There we go.
Thank you.
There we go. So 3 things: online project, booked venue, festival registration. Those are the 3 things that you need to do to complete your registration. Believe you me, April 13th rolls around, we do polls of people who've registered but have not booked a venue, and then we nag you and nag you and nag you. Like, hey guys, just to let you know, remember that time in late January when we said that you also needed to book a venue? Well, you have not yet booked a venue, so make sure to book a venue. We're going to talk a little bit more about the process of booking a venue in a bit, give you a little more clarity. Okay, all right, so those are the 3 things: online project, booked venue, paid registration. Here is the registration workflow. So if you go to hollywoodfringe.org/ad_project or follow one of the links that's scattered all over the Hollywood Fringe Festival website, there is a wizard to guide you through your registration process. There are steps in this wizard. It's a multi-step wizard. It asks you to answer some basic questions and some more detailed questions about your project. The basic questions are pretty fundamental. What is the name of your show? And here's the thing. Until April 15th, you can call it the show that I kind of want to do maybe. And you can change it all the way up through April 15th, which is the guide deadline. Now you can still change it, but I wouldn't recommend it because it will be different from what is in the printed guide. Okay, and then it's going to ask you some detailed questions. And what are those detailed questions for? They go to the venues when you apply to venues. So the venues have a little more information they need to help you have a positive Fringe experience. Okay, you got the opportunity to tag your project, which is like adding, everyone knows what a tag is, it's 2015. Yeah, you add adjectives to your show, basically. It is funny, and crazy, and zany, and fringy. Okay, that word. Then you apply the venues. You try to make this easy for you. You get a list of all the spaces. Fringe terminology, venues have spaces, okay? So actors company is in a venue, the other space is a space. Actors company, venue, other space, space. Other space is what's called.
Yeah.
All right, well, it's even in the name. So that is a little bit of Fringe terminology for you. Okay, so we have a list of available spaces right there for you. And next to each space is a button, and on that button is the word apply. And you can go apply, 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 apply to all the ones that fit your fancy. You can click through and look at the venues. Some of them have videos, they all have pictures, descriptions, a rundown of the services that they offer, contact information, information on the individual spaces within that venue, the capacities of those spaces. It gives you an idea and it helps you choose the venue that is fit for you. You have the opportunity there to apply to them. And applying sends your information, including your personal information, contact information, to the venue so that you can initiate the conversation with the venue, right? Okay. And if you have questions of that, hold on to them. I will answer them later. Okay. That sounded harsh. That's not what I meant. And finally, as of the 1st of next month, you will have the last step, which is to register with the Fringe. Okay, that's how the workflow works. We made it this way so you can basically, starting February 1st, register in one sitting. You can sit down, and within 10 minutes, you can have registered for the Fringe. But note, you still need to book your venue. Kind of driving that one home. Okay. All right. And also note that you can always start and come back and finish it. So you can answer your questions. You can go back and adjust your questions. You can apply to venues as you will. You can go back and apply to new venues. And when you're ready to pay the registration fee and officially it's your entree at the festival, you can finish your registration. Okay, that's the registration workflow. Let's talk a little bit about each step. Your project page or your show page, depending on what you want to call it. That is your hub. That is where all the information that you want to present to the ticket-buying, theater-loving public is. Here is a great hub for marketing your shows and for selling your tickets. Big question that we get on support is, what is the URL where my tickets will be on sale? Now, if you want to be really generous, it's HollywoodFringe.org. But most people want to be a little more specific than that. They want to give you a direct link to your show. And that project page that you create at the end of that process is the place to market. Now, those project pages, you look at the bottom left-hand corner of the desktop version of the page, have a short URL as well, and you can use. We should change the short URL.
Yes.
Okay. Now it says HFF18. Just make a note.
Yep.
Just make a note.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'll take that under advisement.
Very good, very good. That short URL, which I believe this year, it depends on what's available, is HFF18.co, or something like that, / your project number. That's your shortened thing. You can use that for all your marketing material. Okay. This is also the place where you can post pictures and videos that pertain to your project. This is a place where you can post press reviews, where you can post press releases. And we're going to be talking about how to post press releases on your page a little bit. It's a place where reviews, if you so choose to collect reviews, will be collected. And nothing is locked on this page until April 15th as it pertains to the printed guide. And nothing is locked on the page forever as it pertains to anything else. So what is on your page on April 15th? And we're going to actually give you, and actually you look in the, and we'll talk about this later, the admin section of your project page. You'll say your registration in the printed guide is going to look like this. Come April 10th, you will receive many an email that say, please go to this place and check your registration. You don't want to be that show that has 15 typos and all the wrong performances, because that's, not ideal. Okay, good. So that's your project page. Let's talk about the act of registering a little bit and the prices thereof. There are multiple different levels of registration. Okay, what we got is the most common, which is the paid multi-performance, okay? Which means that you charge at the door and you've got more than one performance. This is by far the most common of all the Fringe registrations. That is $250. It has not increased since 2011. So, it doesn't even adjust for inflation. $250 paid multi-performance. If you're doing what we call a one-off show, which means it can be paid, it can be free, it can also be paid, and you have one performance, it's $175. If you're doing a free show, which means that it's free at the door, but there are multiple performances, it is $175. If you are doing a workshop, it is $50. And starting last year, if you are a Fringe participant and you want to stage a workshop to some extra money, some extra promotion, whatever, your registration is free for your first workshop. Let's spend a moment and define what a workshop is, because in the theater world, workshop means more than one thing. We are not talking about it's a workshop production, which means I didn't really rehearse or learn notes. It's not like that kind of workshop performance. It's a workshop performance in the sense that it is an educational opportunity for the public. It is a public educational session, meaning I am a teacher-like person teaching you something, probably about the area of the performing arts, to people in a kind of quasi-classroom environment. That is what a workshop is in this context. Okay, you'd be surprised at what people consider workshops. A couple things, you get a much, much smaller guide listing if you're doing a workshop. And if you're in a workshop that isn't in a venue that already exists on the map, your venue won't be on the map. So try not, there are people, they're sly, and I respect that. They said, I'm doing a workshop that teaches people how to love theater. My show's so great. And I was like, that's not a workshop. That's a show. So a workshop, a public session whereby people are to learn things probably about the performing arts. That is what it works. Okay. When you register, what do you get? What do you get when you register? You get a listing in the printed guide. Okay? It's beautiful, fantastic. Dave, right here, puts it together, the printed guide. It features your amazing artwork and all information on your amazing shows. It is literally the best thing ever printed in the world. You get a listing in it. Yes! You get a listing on the Fringe website. Linked various different ways. Various different ways for people to find the kinds of shows they want, be it by subject matter, tag, category, or time, or like what I'm interested in any given way. We find ways to help people dig to find the types of shows that they want. You get ticket sales on web, phone, and walkout. We will sell tickets for you. You get discounted flyer distribution because no one needs to do that. For anyone who has distributed your own flyers, it's a painful, awful experience. It's ultimately unsuccessful. So we have services that will do that for you for very discounted rates. Discounted photography. So those of you who want to capture the beauty that is your show, there are photographers out there that will capture them for you, and they're discounted just for you. You get discounted ads on the Fringe site, so we have online ads as well. Another way to create some of those impressions on people, and the printed ads. You get participant support, which will be very helpful in your Fringe adventure. And again, that is support at HollywoodFringe.org. You might also go to our support portal at support.hollywoodfringe.org. You get qualification for awards. Everybody likes awards. Don't ask me about awards today. It's way too early to ask me about awards. You're all obsessed with them. Like, we'll talk about awards later. There's also extension programs that allow you, if you want to move into your next world of Fringe experience and post-Fringe experience, there are extension programs that are available to you as Fringe participants. You get reviews in the press. You get reviews on your website. Reviews are generally good, and the 1.5 places that still do reviews in major publications will be there. It's a different world than it was in 2010. In 2010, it was back before the LA Weekly was owned by, who the fuck is the LA Weekly? It was back when it really someone worked for. It was a world where there were multiple places that actually review theaters, and now it's a different sort of basis, different sort of world. And in the future, we're going to talk about marketing opportunities. We're going to talk about ways to work with this kind of new world where there aren't major publications devoting major sections and major periodicals on theater reviews. So we'll talk about that as well. You get, this is a nice one, fun. We put the fun back in theater. We put the play back in play. Okay. It's a truly fun thing. That's the thing. People you have your ups and downs. You have your emotional crises and breakdowns. There's highs and there's lows. It's an adventure. If there weren't lows in the process of creating wonderful theater, would it even be worth it? Because at the end, what have you got? You got battle story, and you're going to make it through, right? But ultimately, people look back on it and say, "Well, that was really fun." And I think that's really important, because why else do we do this? Oh, for the money. Right, we do it for the money. Networking! Networking is important, especially in this festival. Networking is important. And don't think of it as douchebag networking. Hey, it's my God, my name's Ben. What's going on? I can still things are. So think of networking more in the sense of you're increasing friendships. You'll hear this other word going on. Hashtag friendships. Friendships are very special. They're not like normal friendships because they happen during Fringe. Friendships are a great and beautiful thing, and you will soon, all of you new faces, learn what friendships are and how powerful they can be. And opportunity. I mean, this is your chance to shine. This is your chance to bring people in. I'd say the era of, hey, I'm doing this great workshop performance, it's about a lot of movies and stuff like that. By all means, invite agents and invite directors and producers if you're into that sort of thing. What I love about Fringe, personally, no offense to the film and television industry, is that in this town of industry, my experience meeting people doing theater in Los Angeles does not conform to the stereotype that I got when I didn't live in Los Angeles. My experience of meeting people in theater in Los Angeles is meeting people doing theater because of theater, not because they want to somehow get commercial. And by all means, commercials rock, they pay a lot of money. But like the act of making a theater is a very special experience. It's an experience that you don't see much in this, a lot of people truly appreciate in this world, and it's important what you're doing. And I think the real Los Angeles theater people that I've met are real theater people like Bold, Dallas, Underland. They're doing it because they love theater. And I find that most of the people that I meet in Fringe, very much, the vast majority, feel the same way about it. Like, by all means, use it as a springboard to increase your careers. That's fantastic and important. And we're all geniuses yet to be discovered. So it's important that people see your work and give you the opportunities. But remember, really, it's about making this beautiful thing called theater, this ancient, beautiful thing called making theater. Okay. Yes. Okay. Let's talk about booking your venue. This is covered. For those of you, is it up on the YouTube?
It is.
Okay. YouTube.com/Hollywood Fringe will be a place where you can see things on YouTube about Hollywood Fringe. So YouTube.com/Hollywood Fringe is the home of Fringe TV. There's a little episode, clips, and all sorts of things. You will also find video recordings. Hi. You're probably watching this on Fringe TV right now. And I say to you, you are special and attractive, and I can't wait to meet you. Okay. All right. Everyone at Fringe is special and attractive. Boundaries. Okay, let's talk about boundaries. And these are the physical kind. Franklin Avenue. Okay, let me explain what I'm explaining. Didn't get much sleep last night. There's a specific area, approximately 1.5 square miles in central Hollywood, where you can book your Fringe show. Now, you'll go and see the list of venues, and that's not exhaustive. Okay? Those are just venues that participated in the past and will choose to participate this year. They're all wonderful. They're vetted. You stand by them. They're great. But if you wanted to do, say, in a coffee shop, or you wanted to do it in a museum, or you wanted to do it in a street corner, or in your apartment, you have insurance, stuff like that. Like, they're like encourage you, if you have that type of show and dig that sort of theater, which a lot of people do these days, then I would say like go with God. Find a strange, wacky place to do your show. That's very Fringe, is to find interesting bound spaces to do your show. We are blessed, I tell you, in Hollywood, of having spaces like this, that other Fringes simply don't have. You have nice, beautiful, intimate spaces with all the facilities that you need to do a Fringe show. This is not normal. This is great for us. And one of the things that makes this such a wonderful festival is we have these wonderful facilities. But if you decide to go, as they say, no proscenium, then you can, and no one is stopping you from doing it. Okay, so where are these boundaries in this so-called Hollywood? Franklin Avenue to the north. Yeah, to the north. Normandy Avenue to the east. Rosewood Avenue to the south. And Gardner Street to the west. If you go to the portal, support.hollywoodfringe.org, then you look at the article, I think it's called Where is the Fringe? You will see these boundaries. To participate in the Fringe, you must be in a venue within these geographical boundaries. Okay, so after you apply to the site, we've talked about that, you can apply to the spaces and the venues that you choose. Then follow up. If you go to the venue page, which is hollywoodfringe.org/venues, or click on the venues button, you will see a list of venues. And you can sort based on capacity, based on type. There also is contact information. By all means, reach out, contact them, have conversations, talk about what your Fringe show is about and what you're looking for. Find the venue that fits your show. One of the great things about our festival is you can do that. We are not choosing your venue for you. You, producers and artists, are choosing it yourself. Okay. Right, I'm up here now. Talk to people tonight. We do have some venues here tonight. So who has a venue? Yes? What's your name, sir?
My name's Matthew Quinn. I represent Theater Asylum, and I've got 7 venues throughout Hollywood. You can visit our website at www.theater, spelled theater with an ER, asylum.com. All the information, we have a venue packet and a submission form, and we've begun tours throughout the week, so I hope to hear from you.
Fantastic.
Can you repeat the website?
Sure, theaterasylum.com, theater spelled ER.
The wrong way.
It's the Venue America. You missed the venue meeting, it was great. We had a little fight about that.
About this.
Yeah, about the spelling.
Right.
It was great.
And over here, we have another one.
Hi, I'm Jen Crafts, and that's Greg in the back. We manage Studio Stage, and then we're also making an announcement. What?
I want to make that announcement.
Oh, Greg wants to make an announcement. So we're making a big announcement tonight. Go ahead.
This is Steve.
Jen is here representing Studio Stage, our venue on Western Avenue just south of Melrose, and I am representing the rescued Hobgoblin Playhouse, now located on Hollywood Boulevard. If you've ever known the Cupcake Theater or the Paul G. Gleason, we have rescued it from the wrecking ball for just a couple more months, and it is a fringe venue, so come on in for its last hurrah.
Woo! Fantastic.
It will most likely be torn down within the next year.
Wow.
So this year's Fringe is going to be a big thing. Yeah, it's really awesome. Come see it.
And then also, when they turn it down, create a human wall to keep
Yes.
them from doing this.
Yeah.
Right? Your
It's a
various
102-year-old
government officials
theater.
keep them from doing that. What's it called? Who else? Hands raised, theaters. Oh, yeah, over here. Yes.
Hi, I'm Monica from the Council of Hollywood. We're on Santa Monica Boulevard on Theater Road. I have 4 theaters, 5 studios. I'm not renting the studios, but we have 4 rehearsals. And we spell it with an R-E. I've saved nothing from the wrecking ball.
I didn't see you back there.
She's snuck in.
Lurking.
That's one way.
Theaters, venues. Any other venues here? All right, so you can talk to those
one more.
Over here. Hey.
So I have a performance space. It's aeroformarts.com, and we have very high ceilings and points. If anyone is doing aerial.
Cool. Oh, that's great.
Oh, very good.
Are you with Mom?
Could you repeat that,
Yeah,
please?
she's one of my students.
Yes.
Yeah,
Oh,
Monica.
she told me.
Yeah.
Could you repeat it, please? What you said?
It's aeroformarts.com, so it's AERIFORM arts.com. We're on Van Ness, and we have, like I said, we have points, we have, be able to do projection, we have a nice truss grid for your lighting, so yeah. Monica is one of our students.
For a naive person, what are points?
So if you want to do like aerial lifts, or you want to do some sort of aerial stuff,
Got it.
we have points,
They're hard to find.
yeah.
Very good. All right. Okay, so yes, talk to these folks tonight. They will be probably over there at the other space after this, at the mixer. Fantastic. Okay, some pointers, some points about choosing a venue. Consider, if you will, price. Prices vary. Prices depend. Prices depend on location, on quality, on the size, capacity. Like, consider price. Consider capacity. Consider capacity. Capacity is, as defined, the number of seats that a house can fit in it. So consider that, and consider it wisely. Like a lot of people are like, I can fit a 99-seat theater, no problem, because I'm awesome. Okay, I'm not saying you're not awesome, but if you rent a 99-seat theater, I would say, A, it's probably going to be more expensive by its very nature, because you can make more money off of it, but be realistic. It's both better to your financial advantage and probably your ego to be able to fill a small space rather than barely fill a large one. A small space can feel very crowded and awesome when, filled with a few people it takes to fill it. A big space will feel very, very empty if only 5 or 6 people show up. So keep that in mind.
Is this a big space or is this a
It's about as average. Yeah, 50.
Pretty sizable.
Yeah.
This is
yeah.
on the bigger side.
Yeah. I mean, it's Fringe, and you can actually go, if you go on the website, hollywoodfringe.org/venues, you can filter by capacity. The venues have within a certain capacity. So think about that. Like, this is a really, I'd say, this is an ample-sized one. There are larger ones on this, and there are definitely smaller ones. So think about that. Consider location. There is benefits to all locations. Like, for example, if you're going for the tourist crowd and you think you can pull people in the tourist crowd, tourists don't really hang out down here, believe it or not. They hang out usually on Hollywood Boulevard. If you're going for proximity to Theater Row, then you should probably look at Theater Row. And then think about where things are located, think about what you like, environment you're in. Location has an aspect. Location can impact price. Think about quality. As I said, we're blessed with wonderful quality venues. Some venues have newer seats, newer stage. They have newer lights. They have more lights. Think about those 2 things. They impact the production value of your show, potentially, the experience for patrons. They also impact the price that you will spend normally. Think about the production fit. Think about your show and the themes of your show and the type of space that are most conducive to telling the story that you want to tell. Think about the services they offer. Some offer box office, some don't. Some offer stage management, some don't. Ask these questions. The Fringe website tells you to an extent what services they offer. But think about the services you need. You might need a piano. You might need a projector. Think about these questions and make sure when you talk to venues, ask these questions. And think about times available. The most popular venues, surprisingly, I think it's an accurate statement, the most popular times go first. So think about that. Like, if you want that 8 p.m. Saturday slot, right? Then depending on when you start booking, then your options are going to be more and more limited. So think about those things. A lot of our venues offer package types that include off prime time and on prime time. Talk to your venue. Literally, it absolutely varies from venue to venue. Okay, stay within your budget. We do not want you to lose your shirts. We want you to break even or even make some money on the Fringe Festival. That's what you want. So sometimes your eyes are bigger than your budget. Like, try to fight that. Everyone thinks, like, I'm going to build Carnegie Hall. But, like, Carnegie Hall, I imagine, is expensive. So think about these things. Never tried to book it. And for those of you that want to, that are out there or out there, if you want to make your venue available, let's say you have a venue, or you have a venue, it is free to register. There's no charge whatsoever to list your venue on the site. There are a few qualifications. Contact support at hollywoodfringe.org if you would like to be a venue at the Hollywood Fringe Festival. Great. We talked about venues. How are we doing on time?
8:04.
8:04. Oh, we're going to do that. Okay. Internationals. You're probably not here. You're probably here. Bonjour. Okay. How you doing? How you doing, internationals? I want to say that you are absolutely welcome here at the Hollywood Fringe Festival. We want to learn your stories. We want to learn about you and the strange countries from which you come. Please join us here at the Hollywood Fringe Festival, and you will meet all these wonderful people and their new faces. And also, if you want to learn more information about the Hollywood Fringe Festival as an international, join us. Thank you for the light, Dave.
It's not helping.
Doesn't help.
There you
There you
go.
go.
Hi. Welcome, International. Oh, well, I'll get going. Check out support at hollywoodfringe.org for a special article on how to register as an international here at the Hollywood Fringe Festival. All right. I avoided saying anything political that time, Dave. Special
Great
that
job.
way. Okay, let's talk about money. Okay, we're going to talk about money because that's what we do. It's not rude. As I said, it is in your interest that this is a financial success as well as a social, artistic, and professional success for you. We want you to have a good financial experience. We don't want you to leave here losing money. So, think about it. To answer the question, this is a common question. How much does it cost? Okay, the nice thing about the buffet of options that we've created for you here at the Hollywood Fringe Festival is that you can sort of choose your own adventure when it comes to cost. You can do something for very, very, very cheap, or you can do something more lavish and involved. You can have a huge, giant venue. You can have a huge production budget, etc. The registration fees we talked about, they vary. $250 for paid multi-performance, $175 for free multi-performance or one-off shows, $50 for workshops, or if you're a participant, you can register one workshop for free. So yes, the first thing is registration fee, and that gets you everything in the festival. That's your first expense. Your second expense is your venue rental. They are separate things. Your venue rental will depend on your venue, how many performances you book at your venue. So, when you are talking to venues, have conversations about rent. I imagine it will come up. Production fees. Look, shows during Fringe, there isn't a vast expectation for massive sets, dinosaurs falling from the sky, picking you up with their teeth, while blood splatters all over the stage, throws you against the wall, a helicopter comes and picks you up and takes you somewhere and chandelier falls on your feet. That's not what people expect from the Fringe. And if you want to do that, good for you. But it's not what people expect. If you think about, say, the Fantastics, I don't think it started in Fringe, but it's very fringy. It includes a box and some other stuff. It's basically a box. I mean, right? It's a fantastic set. It's basically. Think about it from that perspective. Scaled down set and creatively using a scaled down set is what a lot of Fringe shows do. So think about that. Lost my place, lost my place. Okay. I'm back, folks. We're talking about production fees. So we're talking about registration fee, venue rentals, production fees, and then marketing fees. Marketing fees is entirely up to you. Spend your money wisely. Spend your money on aspects that you will think will generate the highest impact. Spend your money to try to find niches that will interested in coming see the subject matter that is your show. Think about these things. But also think about ways you can get free advertising, free promotion. Guess what? We're not really going to talk about that. Nope, right now. There's going to be a future title, future workshops. We're going to talk about marketing. Strongly suggest you check those out. So your basic Fringe cost is your registration fee, your venue rentals, your production fees, and your marketing fees. Let's talk about budgeting. Here's when we're going to start talking about a little math, but it's simple math. It's pluses and minuses, and multiplication. It's really just pluses and multiplications. Okay, so set your ticket price. Okay, we allow you to just sit anywhere you like. It's open. I think, well, maybe not where someone's seated already, like maybe like an empty chair. So set your ticket price. We allow you to set your own ticket price. FYI, common question. What is the most average Fringe ticket price of all time? Generally, every year we do some multiplication and division and all these sorts of other mathematical things, and we come up with what is the average ticket price. It almost always hovers around $12. Okay? Now that doesn't mean that you can't have a $20 show. But here's my suggestion. If you're going to have a $20 show, you better know that there are people out there who want to pay $20 to see your show. If you don't have an existing following that are going to follow you, you're probably not going to pay $20. But you never know. You can get lucky. $20 is high. If you want to set a $40 ticket show and no one knows who you are, good luck. I don't think it's going to work out very well, but like, bon chance. We also see a lot of free shows. We also see a lot of pay what you can shows. You have the option to set shows that pay what you can. Some strategy that people use is they set their previews and pay what you can to fill houses, to get the butts and seats. And that creates a buzz for your, whatever, $12 ticket shows after that. There are 3 types of prices. So every show generally has 3 categories of prices. One is the regular ticket price, the public's price. People coming off the street wanting to buy tickets to your show. That is the regular price. Then you have the opportunity to set a participant price. Remember that old community thing? Like, you generally should set the participant price lower than the regular price. Just an idea. Actually, we don't let you set it high. But we suggest that you do set a unique participant price. The participant price is not advertised on a website or a guide or anything like that. The participant price is something that if you were a logged in participant on the website, that you see automatically. It just works that way. And then there's the community price. For those that have a button, and we're going to talk about the button. The button is something that folks could buy. You get one with your registration, one button with your registration, and additional participants get a $2 discount from the $5 regular price of the button. So if you're a participant, your button costs $3 and you get one free with your registration. It is a physical button. It is also a button that gives you sort of an identity of being a part of the Fringe. In almost every year since we've had buttons, participants get their own cool design as your button, showing you off as a participant. It shows you're part of the Fringe community. It gets you discounts at local businesses. It gets you cheap drinks, Fringe Central. It makes you look real cool. So the Fringe button also gets you $1 off at every Fringe show. So if you're online and you bought a button online, you automatically get $1 off each show. So if you budget accordingly. If you have a $12 a seat regular price, and I own a button and I want to come see your show, it's $11 for me. That's how it works. Now, the Fringe does not control all the venues. We've discussed this. But for those of you running box office, I'm putting this in right now because it's a Fringe sin. If you're running the box office of your show, now there's going to be nobody there from the Fringe saying, oh, it's $1 off, that guy has a button. No, you must respect the button. If you don't, people will write bad things about you. This show doesn't respect the button at the door. So be aware, it is a thing. People will jump on the Twitter books and go, this show doesn't respect the button. Down with this show! So just be aware. So 3 ticket types: regular, participant, you set, regular, you set, participant, you set, community, $1 off regular. That's how it works. Okay. Let's talk about some formulas. It's fun, a little algebra. Not really.
Yes,
It's not really algebra.
It's algebra.
It is?
Yeah.
It's algebra. Nightly gross. This is how much you stand to make in a given performance. Is capacity, the number of seats, times ticket price. Just use regular. Capacity times ticket price times sell-through rate. Sell-through rate is how many tickets you think you're going to sell. And let me give you a tip about that. Be pessimistic and be pleasantly surprised. Whenever I produced a show, I would set the sell-through rate between 40 and 60%. There are people who think, I can afford this 1,000-seat theater because I'm going to sell all the tickets for $15 and I'm going to make a shit ton of money. Right, okay, good luck. You're probably not going to sell all of it though, unless, you're famous or doing really well. So think about that. Think about the sell-through rate and be pessimistic. So again, it is capacity, number of seats, times ticket price, use the regular ticket price, times a generally pessimistic sell-through rate equals nightly gross. That's algebra. Okay. Now, total gross is your nightly gross times the number of performances in your run. And that equals your total gross. Okay, so now you've determined to find the venue, you know the capacity, you set your ticket price, or you have an idea what your ticket price should be. You have generated a pessimistic sell-through rate between 40 and 60%, and you've multiplied that by the number of performances, and that equals your total gross. That's the total amount of money you're going to make. Now, compare your total gross with, see the previous section, the budget for your show. Now, sometimes the budget will be higher than the total gross, leaving a gap in funding, right? The gap in funding is what you must raise through however people do it these days. Kickstarter, Indiegogo, calling your mom, stuff like that. Like running, you can actually, it's a great opportunity when you see the workshops about money, ask former participants about strategies for raising money. There's unique, cool ideas that have happened during the Fringe, and they will absolutely share them with you. So, was budget over here? Budget was over here. Budget, total gross, gap, that's what you need to raise. Okay? And that is basically how you do the financial planning for a Fringe show. Okay, fantastic. Before we just jump straight at questions and answers, which I know people have questions, we have answers. Let's talk for a second about why we do this. I mean, we've talked about this a bit, right? Because it's very special. It isn't just about putting on a show, though putting on a show is wonderful. It's about being part of something larger, it's about being part of something magic. And it's this sort of magic, and I'm serious, I'm not bullshitting you, I'm not like this. There is an aspect of magic. On the last night, and you come off the awards, and you're dressed very fancy, and you come to the closing night awards, there will be a glittering tear in your eye, because you just completed something that's always going to be very special to you. It's going to be something that you remember, and something that you tell your children about. You did this Fringe thing at the time, you know? And then I met the love of my life, my best friend, my partner, who I made all these amazing artistic works with, and I had so much fun. And it's like all of this aspects, and I was a part of a community, and I was a part of something larger than myself. Like the theater, the show is larger than yourself, but the community is larger than even that. And the Fringe lets you be a part of all that. And that's why we keep coming back every year, because it's so special. Tip, it's not for the money. It's because it's such a special experience to be around all of you, and it's so rewarding for us who work on the Fringe to see it blossom year over year over year. So with that, we're going to do some Q&A roughly on time. Now, everyone remembers school? You raise your hand, you get called on, you stand up, and you proudly proclaim your name that your parents might have given you, and you say your show name, and then you ask your question. And that's how we're going to do it. And we're going to go all over the place. And why are you
just so you know, Amber from the lounge.
Oh, hi, it's another theater runner, a venue runner. So, an introduction.
Oh, yeah. I'm Amber from the Lounge Theater. I'm Santa Monica. Hey, Amber. Sorry, I'm late.
Hey, Amber.
And she's going to be over here as well, I'm sure, at that other space. All right, so questions. I saw one here. Sorry, she beat you to it the second time.
Hello.
Hello.
My name is P. Harrison, like peas and carrots. P. Harrison. And my show is called Fear and Black Furies. And my question is, can a venue turn you down?
Yeah, you can. Let's define, it's a good question.
Yeah, good.
Let's define no curation for a moment. We, the Fringe Festival organization, do not curate, but we require that you have a venue. Now, some venues curate, and that's okay. Some venues want to represent a certain aesthetic. Some venues say, your check cashed, here you go. And some venues are somewhere in between. So venues very much vary at what you're looking for. In some venues, you find yourself, and they're not going to turn you down because it's you. So it's yes, you absolutely can be turned down by a venue. A venue might also be full. A venue might not have any booking space left. But yes, Like the lack of curation happens at the festival level, not at the venue level. Which is kind of nice to think about it as a participant, as a patron. Sometimes I can find a venue that does certain types of shows. Like this venue just does comedies, or this venue just does magic. And obviously a venue that does magic is not going to probably want clowning to be at it. But that's okay, because as a patron I can go and I say, I just want to see magic. I just want to see magic during the Fringe. I'm just hanging out at this venue. That's a nice little thing for them to do. So yes, other questions? Yes. I'll be over here in a second. Square.
Hi, I'm Bobby Buse. I've written a show called The Complete Works of Julia Roberts, a parody musical. That's what I was hoping for, actually. I'm just curious with the venues, do they help with any small items of set or possible directions to go for costumes or things like that, or is that just on the producer?
Any venues want to answer that question?
I know.
Yeah.
It really depends on the venue. I know in Studio Stage we have quite a lot of stuff, so we have a lot of like boxes and chairs and rolling bar and table and whatever. So we've got that. Over at the Hobgoblin, there's actually quite a lot of stuff, including 2 grand pianos, which people can use. Yay! So it depends what's in the venue. And then for if you're with me and Greg, we do a lot of like a list of preferred vendors. If you need a costume designer, if you need a lighting designer, if you need whatever, we'll help people out that way. I think lots of venues do that. Yeah.
Okay.
I would just add, our Stephanie Fury space has a really impressive set with refrigerator, stove,
I don't need anything too
too fancy. But each one will have their bells and
couch and a
whistles.
few chairs would be great.
Yeah, you'll find that in most spaces.
Okay.
The other thing I'd say there too is other Fringe participants may have those things that you want, and other Fringe participants at your venue may be able to conveniently share their couch with you, so you have to move a couch once a week instead of 4 times a week or something.
And also keep in mind that a lot of venues, I'd say most venues, do not provide you storage necessarily. So when selecting, like some do, some don't. So ask if you have a large set that requires some form of storage. Just make a mark. That's a question I want to talk to venues about when I'm talking about venues that I want to get to. So just be aware. Some venues are like you got 15 minutes in, you got 15 minutes out. Some are a half an hour out. Some ask your venue, how long do I have to set up? How long do I have to shut down? A lot of them will just give you one block of time where you can do anything you want. So if you have a night, like it's going to take you 30 minutes to set up and 30 minutes to shut down, and your show's 30 minutes, you might want to find a 90-minute slot in the venues. Something to consider. Yes! I swear I would go here and go for it.
Hi, I'm Chanel Curry. I am with Shadow Glass Show. I have 2 questions.
Yes.
The first is about the workshop. So if we're doing a show and we get the first free workshop for free, the educational workshop, of course, is that included in like the packages the venues have? Like I know some do like a show, or is that an extra that we pay for the space? Most likely an extra for the space. Okay, that's question 1. Question 2, if we have product, like I normally sell a book, my partner sells in her EPs. After, is that something that can be done, or is that like a no-no or?
By venue.
Perfect, okay.
Well, the answer to a lot of these questions are ask your venue.
All right, thanks.
In general, out of respect, because we all respect each other, we respect each other as artists, we respect the spaces in which we perform. Like if there's anything out of the norm, like involved, like throwing paint, something like that, like ask your venue, like clear with your venue, be very respectful of their spaces as well. Any other promise to come here? Yes, in the middle. Yes.
Hey, I'm Daniel Florin. I'm producing a show called Bible Bash, or Upon a Rock Such as This, don't watch it. And my question is, and it's kind of a great question, but the question is, what realistically, and then idealistically, when should we have a venue booked and decided? So it was like, if it's not done by February 2nd, well, you're basically not in it. Or is it, or is it like, it's pretty, you kind of figure it out as you go.
Well, these guys would probably give a better idea of their flow. Like, what do you, yes, Monica.
I would like to say But you can book a show all the way until June 1st and beyond. But if you want to be in the guide, just make sure you get in before April. Some of us wait to do our scheduling. Some of us schedule you when you come in. So again, it's a question for your venue. But we all have to have your schedule in by April 1st. So that's kind of your deadline, and I would just keep that in mind. I don't like to rush people. I like for them to be able to go and really take a look at everything.
Okay.
Yeah.
I would say this year it's been very busy. Last year, some of my spaces did fill up at the beginning of March. I think there's always some spaces out there up until the deadline. But I do feel, I know Jen at Studio Stage is really booking up, so it's starting now is a great time.
If you specifically have a venue in mind, I would reach out to them sooner rather than later.
Yeah.
Because they might be that one venue that's booking up quicker.
Yeah.
And some have less like some venues have one space that they have to book so many into. Other venues have 5 different spaces, so it depends on.
That's why I'm so lackadaisical about it.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Jeff is.
Oh, and I will say for our new venue, the Hobgoblin, we actually are not going to even be in there. We can't get in there until March 29th, which is crazy. So then we're going to have an open house probably the 30th or 31st. So if you are like, oh, I will probably want to, we have pictures. We'll show you pictures in a video tour. If you know that's where you want to go, like, don't stress about it. It'll be fine.
Yeah, there's spaces.
What was that?
How many seats is a hot dog?
It's actually a 99, but we're probably going to make it fewer so that you can use AEA under the 50-seat code.
What's the name of it?
It's going to be called the Hobgoblin Playhouse. The Hobgoblin Playhouse. Yeah, we'll chat after. We'll give you the pictures.
Give the pictures. It's a great space.
Yes.
Speaking of non-traditional spaces, how is the permitting issue going on?
The permitting issue. I don't think I'm particularly qualified to speak to that, Dave. mean,
I would just say you're obligated to comply with all local laws.
Yes.
So,
I mean, I can certainly speak to more specifics if you'd like, but.
yeah, I know, because I know that Monica and I have been talking about the fact that you used to be able to get the special use permit, and now they've kind of stopped that.
My understanding is that the city's in the process of changing how they do that, but again, like Fringe is gonna step back and say you should talk to the city / local government and just make sure that you comply. But I think there's usually ways to figure things out. Yeah.
I will say that to the best of my knowledge, no one has ever said I can't do a show because I couldn't find a venue.
That's
Since the
Not
beginning.
yet. No.
one has ever said.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not yet.
Yes.
Oh.
Oh.
Can I add to this? This area is Mitchell Farrell's, Councilman Mitchell Farrell's.
It's
Or is it also
CD4
split
and
by-
CD13.
I think there's 2 council districts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if
Yeah.
that can be shared with them, with the office, so they can just directly answer, go to the 2 councilman offices. And one is on Hollywood Boulevard and the other one, I don't know where.
Right.
But those can be, the participants can ask the councilman directly. You don't need to go down to City Hall, downtown LA, but the councilman here, Mitchell Farrell and.
The other guy.
They'll push you to the people. There are departments they'll push you to.
Oh, Ryan Newman or something.
Right.
Yeah,
The guy who used to be Tom.
yes.
Great. Well, let's go here and I'll swing that.
I remember seeing something on the website about liability insurance for venues. Is that for each venue you go to? I saw something about a flat fee. And then in the feeling of being a friendship person, my company sells liability insurance.
We strongly suggest that everyone gets their insurance for their show. If you contact support@hollywoodfringe.org, we can give you some options for insurance. And a lot of venues.
Yeah, most of us you can be added onto
Yeah.
our retainers.
Yeah. So
It's a
yes.
pretty small piece.
Yeah.
Small feet. Let's swing over here. Here. Sorry, you're gonna be next. I swear.
Hi, Becky Hamilton. It's a musical play called The Glitter Beach that I wrote. You didn't speak about actors. Is there any legal
Oh, yeah.
case where actors are
have
Actors
to
Equity
pay
Association?
them or?
Casting and auditions and.
Okay. Who wants to talk about this? Greg?
Oh, shit. Okay, let me preface this by saying that I am a former board member of the Theatrical Producers League of Los Angeles, and we enforce standards and best practices for member production. So we've also been on the forefront of dealing with the whole equity situation for a while now, although now it's kind of calmed down. I'm not a lawyer, and I'm not anybody that's like a legal expert when it comes to paying people, but let me just say that if you actually try to take on people as an independent contractor or an employee, as a producer, by paying them basically anything at all, that actually exposes you to a whole bunch of liability. So unless you got people that you're really cool with, you know, and sliding something under the table, I would suggest that you research very closely what paying somebody anything, whether you call it a stipend or a reimbursement or whatever, research very closely what that means legally, because a lot of people don't realize what that means. Now, when it comes to working with Actors Equity, I can answer a lot of questions as both a producer and a member of the union, so I can talk about that afterwards. But if you're absolutely insisting on casting somebody that's an equity member, I would say base your venue search on that, because they have the 50-seat showcase code, which is like perfect for Fringe. But if you go to 51 seats, then the only option that they have for you right now is the minimum wage agreement, and then you're paying workers' comp, and you're paying unemployment, and you're paying minimum wage for rehearsals and performances, and that's a lot of money. I'm not against people paying actors. I know there are Fringe shows that have done it in the past, but I just know that realistically the budgets that we produce under, and y'all should go in with open eyes knowing what this all means. Because there are independent producers. There's actually a Fringe producer a couple of years ago who got hauled in front of a labor board tribunal because an actor that he paid out of his box office went after him for back wages, saying, well, you paid me, that made me an employee, so I want minimum wage and damages.
So I'll just step in so we can move on. But yes, contact Actors Equity if you want to use equity actors. They'll inform you exactly about their rules and regulations. And just like what we were just talking about building codes, you need to comply with local laws, and there are laws governing labor, and you know, fly in the face of them at your own peril, because there are recourses for people to consult the labor board if they feel that you've treated them unfairly. So, you know.
So are there actors that want to just do it for the experience?
I'm sure there are. Yeah.
Volunteer contracts.
Yeah.
Making things very, very clear that it's volunteer.
It happens.
Yeah, just in general, just as when you would take any job yourself, be upfront about the realities of the position you're offering someone, and just make sure that the understanding is very clear. And the best way to have a clear understanding with someone is to have it in writing, so that you have some means of showing what you agreed to down the road. And if you're going to deal with a union, then talk to the union directly and make sure you comply with their regulations.
So does like breakdown services and people like that, do they support Fringe or?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
We're certainly on the radar of these various institutions, and they know exactly how to inform you to abide by their policies.
Yeah, sometimes Backstage West does a free deal.
Yeah,
People
is
in the past.
Backstage doing the deal again this year?
Yeah.
Unclear yet. We'll definitely announce it
Yeah,
when
they'll
it
be in
happens.
your participant package, which articulates all of your various discounts and opportunities for fun and adventure. There's someone over here.
I'm Sam Shaver. My show is called Sam Shaver, Life, Death, and Duran Duran. It's a musical storytelling show which will be at the Complex Hollywood as of about 4 days ago when I went in and signed my paperwork. The adorable Red Ruby Theater. I have actually one question for the group. I actually premiered the show at the Edinburgh Festival this past summer, and I would like to do a workshop about bringing a show to Edinburgh, but I'd love to have other performers that have been to Edinburgh who can also join me, and because we all have such different experiences. So if you were ever at Edinburgh or you know anyone who was, come talk to me afterwards, because I'd love to populate.
What about everyone like watching this, the millions watching this here? Is there
Yes,
any way they can
please.
contact you?
Sam at samshaver.com.
Sweet.
Or my project is up on the.
And now every spammer harvests emails.
I already get those.
Okay.
And then two kind of granular questions.
Yep.
One is, can Articulate Link be, can we make up a bit.ly for that, or will that mess up anything?
No, Bitly will mess up nothing, but
Personalize it?
you have your own. Yeah, you can personalize by all means. Yeah, we give you a shortened URL, but you can use Bitly as well.
Cool.
Yep.
And then for the ads, if we're gonna buy a print ad, do we wanna have our performance dates before we submit that?
That's a really good question. Like personally, I would say you don't necessarily need to include your performance dates on your ad because it uses up some pretty precious space that can be used to otherwise capture people's attention and guide them to your listing. But it's entirely up to you. Now, on your flyers, I would say, yeah, you want your performance dates. But on your ad, it's not so much a practice. We don't see a whole lot of shows do that, right?
It varies wildly.
Yeah, sure.
But in general, what Ben said about real estate, you know, you're paying a premium for a small amount of space. So given that your dates and times are elsewhere in the same booklet, you may want to focus on art and logos and review quotes and things like that.
Whimsy. Yes.
Hi, I'm Adam Briggs. I'm still brainstorming the name of my show. Just tonight, hearing about workshop idea, it's making me think like maybe a one-night workshop thing.
Yeah.
But I'm going to a lot of venues and I'm finding out they have like 5-star packages and stuff like that. So, you know, if you're gonna do one-night workshop, are my options only like coffee shops, or do venues do one-night thing at a discount?
I don't think venues care.
Yeah, there's definitely. Most venues, yes, they'll have a 5-show package, but that doesn't mean that they won't book one show.
Got it.
Yeah.
It's just at one show, you still have to pay insurance, and your costs are a little bit more, expensive for one show. It like evens out everything.
Okay.
Good. All right, Greg.
Hi, I'm Greg. I'm one of the managers of Studio Stage and the Hobgoblin Playhouse. I'm also the director of A Very Die Hard Christmas. We use a parody of Die Hard. Yippee-ki-yay, motherfuckers. We're going up at Studio Stage. And then, you know the question I'm going to ask. I ask it every year at this time.
Where's Fringe Central going to be?
Yeah.
No.
Same answer as every year.
Yeah.
We'll tell you when we know.
So where's Fringe Central? Fringe Central. Interesting story. At one point, the first year in 2010, somebody came up and said, "Excuse me, what is the Fringe Festival? Like the Fringe Festival?" No, it's right here. No, the Fringe Festival. Yes, the Fringe Festival is right here. No, the Fringe Festival. Turns out there was a Fringe Festival happening at the same time. Okay. True story. Fringe Central is called the social epicenter of the Fringe. It's a place where there's a bar, there's places. We have a cabaret stage. We're going to talk about the cabaret stage in future town halls. If you have a cabaret-like show, it is an opportunity to do a little bite-sized bit of your show there. So cabaret, like singing clowns. Yes, King Lear. Not really. But yes, and it's a place we have food trucks and fun, and we throw parties there, and that's Fringe Central. And it has moved to various different places year over year. And when the time is nigh, we will announce where Fringe Central is this year. So nice try. Let's go this side. Yes.
Hello, I'm Stephanie Hutchinson. I'm a playwright of Eliza Ford of Kentucky. True life story of my great-great-grandma. And on the project page, I don't find an exact category match. It seems like, are there not dramas? Welcome.
Oh, okay. Well, if you have a drama, is there more than one people in the cast? More than one person cast? Ensemble theater. Yeah. It's not. It's like I would put it under ensemble theater in that case, but it fundamentally is up to you. But yeah, I would choose a category that is sort of sweeping what you do, and then use tags, adjectives when you set up your show to make it more specific and make it more about what the subject matter of the show is.
Because at one point, it was going to be just solo show. So I got like a second choice.
Sure.
I looked at all the choices as well. Does have songs, but I couldn't say it's a musical.
Right. That's the nice thing, is that you can choose. And the awards, which I promised I was going to be talking about, is given per category. And some very mean people, with their slide. Try to figure out historically which category has the fewest shows because they have the highest likelihood of winning an award. We can edit that out what I just said. Impossible. So yeah. I mean, like a lot of shows are musicals, solo shows that are also funny. So it's up to you to choose how you want to be categorized and presented to the public. Ultimately, it determines the section you're in the Fringe Guide. So,
but it sounds like you would definitely be ensemble.
Ensemble theater. Yeah. On this side? Nobody? Over here.
It's me. Again. I was told, I'm just confirming, at the first party, I guess the main, whatever it's called, the big party, that press will be there.
The greatest party given by theater people, for theater people ever of all time?
That one.
Will press be there?
Will press be there? And as far as PR goes, do you guys have any kind of list of bloggers or anything like that? Or is that kind of all on us?
Good question. Okay, yeah. Press, yeah, I guess they can come if they really want to and promise not to be rude. No. Yeah, the press can. It's not like a press event. Because it's more about like meeting and having fun and that sort of thing. So it's not like sure there will be press there, sure. Now to answer the question of where one might put together a press list, that is definitely coming in the future. Talking about how to work with the press, how to court the press, get the press to see your show, creating attractive and effective press releases. Like that's definitely a subject for future town halls. To answer your question, we don't give you an explicit list of emails for press. Ultimately, your press list as a producer is one of the key weapons in your arsenal, and it's sort of a personal, tightly held thing. That's all fine, kind of like your mailing list, right? But if you go to this portal, support.hollywoodfringe.org, there is an article in there.
Press awareness.
Press awareness.
In which we delineate outlets that typically cover Fringe.
Yes.
There's a list of 40 or so.
We delineate them with algebra.
There's no algebra involved. It's just a list.
So check that out, and you will see some presses that come and Fringe with us. Yes?
Just also, most press people have Fringe rates. Or like the press people, the PR people that you can hire that do Fringe, they have Fringe rates. And those people are.
You're talking about publicists.
I'm talking about publicists.
Yes.
Just so people know.
Is there a list of those publicists?
No, you don't have a list of publicists.
Ask venues, they have.
Some of the venues do.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Hi, I'm Michael Greenspan, and first time Fringe.
Language are almost
The title of my show is Cross the Bread and Such. And the question I have, because I'm kind of freaking out, is for people who have produced their Fringe shows, who have full-time job commitments, has it been feasible to produce a show?
In my opinion, is it feasible to do a show if you don't have a full-time job? So the answer is yes. Absolutely. That's a direct answer, a direct question. Yes.
Hi, I'm Steve Chang. My show is called A Complete Waste of Time.
Branding.
My question is, Ben, will you come to see my show?
Sounds like a complete waste of time.
Well, okay, the only way I'm going to see your show if the word family friendly is stamped on it. Like literally, the only shows that I have time to see in the past 3 years are shows that I can bring my kid to on Father's Day. So, if it's a family friendly show, there is a chance I will see your show. Otherwise, I see shows and extensions. So maybe you should try to get one of those fancy extension programs.
Dave, will you come to see my show?
I see slightly more things than Ben, but I make no promises. But I can be courted just like any audience member. You can practice on me, your courtings.
Excellent question. Okay, anyone else? Yes, up there.
Hi, I'm Laura Grimaldi. I have a show coming up called Left Turns. Hopefully at Studio Stage. Nails you might come to work.
My question
Mailed
is,
To me.
I mailed it, yeah.
CC. Oh, good, good.
I heard it too.
My question is, when you're talking about flyers, are you talking about the postcards that we get? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, we're gonna talk a lot about flyers.
Okay, and then my other question was like, I mean, to drop the $250 for the registration fee,
Yep.
there's really no rush, we just have to have it invite people first.
Right.
Or is it that when we pay it, that's when we get the benefits of like the discounts and all that kind of stuff, we have to wait and pay it before we get any kind of discounts and all that information?
Both of those things are true.
Yes, both of those things are true. And generally, we don't release the participant packet until after the deadline, so you don't even know what they are officially until after the registration deadline.
But
So-
certainly don't buy any print ads or online ads before you register because yes, you don't get those discounts until you have a registration.
Yeah, that was absolutely.
And also, whenever you'll note soon that you have the ability to augment your production team on the site to more than one person to include your cast and stuff.
Right.
For the discounts and stuff, you need to be logged in as the primary contact on the project in order to see the discounts.
And here's another thing. I'll just mention this because some of you might be right now working to create the mind-bending artwork that is going to draw all those special someones into your show. Now, if you choose to create flyers, which you should, there's one thing that you should know. Before you send it to the publisher, if you want to display your flyer, or whatever shape you make it in, at Fringe Central, you must include the Hollywood Fringe logo. And we don't do that just to be jerks. It's because a lot of people come by and drop their flyers there that aren't members of Fringe Show. And limited space, we're there to promote Fringe shows. So you can download the Hollywood Fringe logo at hollywoodfringe.org/branding. There you will find a PNG file.
Many varieties.
Yes, a PSD file and an EPS file. Your designer probably wants the EPS file.
What was that website?
hollywoodfringe.org/branding. BRAN as in Nancy, DIN as in Nancy, G. Yes?
I have another venue question. Is booking the theater, is that paid up front on most theaters? Is that how it works, or is it worked out?
Usually, yeah, it's some deposit.
Like a down kind of thing? Yeah, got it.
We do a plan.
Sell your house or something like that?
Yeah, that helps. You have the house to give us.
I'm actually running a venue/blood
Most take all. We do online payments as well as checks and things like that. Yeah.
Any other questions? Yes.
Hi, my name's Alon. My show is Crunch, and if the show's already like booked out the space and just remounting it as everything ready, is there like a point where, like,
yes.
No. Like, do we have to start advertising at a certain point, or can we start advertising whenever?
I think the answer to the question, my understanding is you can advertise whatever the hell you want. I mean, it's all part of your advertising strategy. Are you saying it's like, should you not start advertising until you book your show? Is that the question?
No, should I not start advertising until like the Fringe schedule comes out?
Oh, okay. I mean, here's the thing. We're going to talk about this at the marketing town halls and the marketing workshops, but there's multiple different strategies you can employ to effectively market your show. Like if I were to start marketing my show now, yeah, it's kind of far out, but at the same time, there also isn't a lot of other people marketing shows right now. So it might kind of stick in my head and I might kind of remember it. Like Complete Waste of Time, like I now remember that show because he got up and asked that amazing question. So it's stuff like that. So if you start to plant yourself into people's head earlier, especially if you can plan it in for free, then that is a smart move because, and we'll talk about this in the future, it's not just one time you hear a show, the name of the show. I hear it like multiple times and it starts to sort of stick in my head. Ow. It starts to like stick in my head. And then it's one of those shows that I recognize. Like speaking personally, like deal with support cases and see shows and flyers and see ads. And like, so there are certain shows that like, just because my brain is as it is, that I see so many times that I'm like, oh, that show. Oh, I recognize that. The name or the visual, you know, or something like that. Or like, I saw this guy on the Twitter chat talking about it. This person bought a friend chat. This person keeps coming to mixers or workshops or to the office hours events that we throw. Oh, by the way, office hours, like we haven't fully announced this yet, but this is something very cool. Starting in
late March.
Oh,
look, it's Ellen. She can talk about office hours.
Hi. We have office hours, which are strictly networking events for all of you to come meet each other and show each other your flyers and make little deals and see each other's shows and support the community. And they start out with like 60-ish people and end up with a lot more than that. Come hang out with us every single Wednesday from March, the last Wednesday of March to the last Wednesday before we open the Fringe.
And that will be wherever headquarters.
We will have,
Yes,
we'll have 10
it'll be
different
in a different
locations.
place.
It'll be at like 10 different spaces all throughout Hollywood. So sometimes it'll be near your venue and then you can say, hey, my venue's on the street, you know? So it'll be everywhere within Hollywood and we'll be announcing that by the end of the month.
Woo!
Yeah.
Great. They're so much fun.
There's so much fun. It's like sort of a slice of Fringe Central before Fringe Central opens. You get to see everyone. It's great. When we're talking about networking, we're talking about pre-advertising. Sometimes pre-advertising is just showing up, you know, and meeting people and getting to know people and like building a buzz within the Fringe community. And going to events like this and going to events like office hours, for those of you who have the benefit of living in LA, is something you should really take advantage of. Office hours got just huge last year. What was the biggest?
Over 200 people.
Over 200 people
In
came
one
to
night.
So yeah, check it out. It's a great way to have fun, support local businesses. End of March, right?
Start in mid to end of March.
Mid to end of March.
And we'll have the dates out for you sometime, probably late February.
Great.
But they're Wednesday nights.
Wednesdays.
So just don't take your recurring Wednesday gig.
And all of our Fringe events are on Wednesday nights too, so you should just block off your Wednesday nights.
From now till July.
From March 5th through July 1st, like your Wednesdays are taken care of, don't worry about it.
Okay, lightning round. Ben.
Lightning round, okay. Who has a question? Raise your hand if you have a question. 1 question, 2 questions, you want just 2? 3 questions. This is your last chance to ask questions. So 3, starting from this side to that side. Question.
Yeah,
Question.
go for it.
Yes.
My name is James. I'm doing It's Mime Time with James Direct, called Get Out of Your Head. That's the whole name of the show. What is there a deadline for putting print ads into the Fringe thing?
Great lightning question round. And the answer is April 15th. All right, up here.
Yeah, my name is Sarah. I'm producing a show called Hush. So I actually registered last year and did not find a venue on time.
Yep.
My question is, since I've already paid, who do I talk to?
Support at hollywoodfringe.org.
Cool.
Yeah, you're welcome. So keep in mind, guys, April 1st, after April 1st, your registration is non-refundable. Before April 1st, it is refundable. So be aware of that. You can always, as she said, push it into the next year if you end up not wanting to participate, but it is not refundable. We had one over here. Last question. Last question. Right?
Hi, I'm Jordan. I perform under the name Macbeth Pro. My show's name is Epic Fail. And I'm wondering, is there like a hashtag that we use to market our stuff? Or
Yes!
Yes.
Hashtag HFF18 or 15 if you're retro. Yes, Dave?
Oh, I don't have a question, but before we wrap up, I just want to encourage everyone. So these events are great. You can learn lots from them. They're also up in perpetuity on our YouTube channel. So if you want to get a jump on all the other events, and also note that the workshops have different panelists every year. So there's literally 5 or 6 years of panelists, of workshops. So go on the YouTube channel. You could watch 20 hours of workshops about how to do Fringe if you'd like to state your appetite for further information. So if you want to get a jump on all of this before the next workshop in March,
you
can.
All right, thanks everybody. You're great. Next door.